Hey y'all, this is Cheryl Despathi, and my project is on dyslexia. I'm doing a branching scenario, and I'm recording this through Storyline rather than just showing you the product I have on the web because I wanted to show the branching and how I had organized it. So this is clearly not the best way to organize it in the future. If anyone has experience with branching, I would love some feedback on how to better organize all my scenarios. So what I've got is an introduction. The first scenario with the choices, it branches into two potentials, so theoretically three, but after talking to my SME, we really decided that there isn't really clear first, second, third choices in terms of ranking A, B, and C. In fact, sometimes there are two good ones and a bad one. So instead of giving them like 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, etc. for the 5 choices we had initially come up with, for the different scenarios, we might give 2 of them 4s and 1 of them a 2 and then a 1 and a 5. So the SME and I have decided that this is a better way of showing that there are multiple good answers and not just one right answer, which is kind of complicated based on the content. So from there, then it goes to the different scenarios, and you can see how the branching kind of says like A goes to A and B goes to A and B, this one goes to B, C, D. And it just gets more and more complicated as it goes through and expands into 4 different scenes. This is the elimination scene. So I'm going to run through right now and show you the product. I've got it currently set on the player to have the slide names, although I don't intend for that to be true in the final, but it's because I've deactivated the previous button for a couple of the slides. So like if you hit choice and then you choose like A and then it takes you to something, you can't hit previous slide because technically in Storyline it wouldn't be the previous slide. So it's been deactivated. So you can't go back. You just have to start over. So what I don't like about the project, first and foremost, is definitely the title page. I would love some feedback about what I could do differently. If there's something I could put here, it'd be more interesting. If there's another scene that you see in the scenarios, it would be more interesting. This is like so boring, and even my SME and I agree that this really sets a bad tone for the project. Goes into course objectives. Introduces Mr. Boyle. He's a teacher with 2 students with dyslexia, Fiona and Fred. It introduces that he wants to go through best practices. He tells the directions. Basically, you can choose lots of different things. It will go through a variety of different results, and so you can play this over and over until you get an A+, in which I intend, once I'm done making all the scenarios, to add in a number variable, which would then add numbers based on choices, and you have to earn a certain number in order to get the A+ grade. And it's either A+ or start over. There's no like A+, B, C, etc. So then introduces to Fiona and Fred. They're the students who say, oh, we get all these things in class, we don't really know what to do. Please, if you help us, you'll help everybody, which is really the thing that my SME is most concerned about, is teachers understanding that. And then you go into begin. So it starts with the first scenario, which is fonts. So I haven't recorded any of the audio until the very end. So if we go to the notes section, you can see what all he says. This is where he says, I need to just make a worksheet. This is his handout that he's created. It asks the learner to then spend some time studying the layout and then clicks next when you're ready to offer me some solutions and some advice. Then it goes to the different choices. So it asks the learners to pick either a sans serif font, a serif font, or font doesn't really matter. And for this slide only, I've chosen to use the types of fonts that it's being asked to select because they realized that when they were all sans serif that they was going to give away the answer of best practice. And so I've put in some sort of false justifications. So like the answer is not a serif font, but a false justification might be, oh, because it has lines and make it easier. Okay. So then it goes on to, depending on your choice, but I'll show you the scenarios, it goes on to like font size. He says, oh, here I am again, and thanks for the help. Study my handout one more time and give me some feedback. And the choices can then lead you to like variety. You've got 2 different ones that give you different choices. So it goes to the formatting. So obviously the one I chose is clearly a B scenario, although the learner wouldn't know that. It talks about like, here's different things that can happen and what should I do? It gives them a choice. So this is the choice page that I created like an example of what the worksheet would look like. And so you can kind of see even from like this one, like hopefully the learner over time of like taking this a second time would see this screen with this like really random colored piece and go, maybe that wasn't a good scenario. So let's say that the learner gets to like a D scenario and they get 2 choices and they pick the one that eliminates them. What they would end up seeing is it'll go to the elimination page. It says, oh, I'm sorry, you've chosen enough poor choices. I want you just to stop and start over and see if you can improve. So it asks the learner to redo and make different decisions. It goes back to the beginning. So this is what I've got so far. I've only got 5 scenarios. I got 10 planned total, but I just met with my SME today, and so I didn't want to make any other movements on design until I got feedback from her. And I intend to create the other 5 now that I have a good sense of how to link everything. I think it'll go much faster the second half than it did the first half. So thanks for your feedback today.